What's going on, everybody? Dan Kasper here from Radio Row and day one of the NFL draft.
Brandenburg here.
Brandon's over there too. So we are in the media workroom, aka the Radio Row over here too.
Center.
So yeah, the action center.
Where the real action happens.
Exactly. I mean, Goodell just walked by and
He did.
gave Brandon the finger. So
one of those two things is true.
So what? We're 3.5 hours away
out, yeah.
from the Titans officially being on the clock and taking forever to make their pick for Cam Ward and
as
that.
I said this morning, that's my thing. Like, they know.
Yep. So now that we're here, we've put on some miles already, walking around the stadium and such. But your initial reactions, your thoughts from everything that's going on right now.
So far, I've liked what I've seen. It very much looks like how Green Bay would host a draft event, and I say that as a compliment.
Mm-hmm.
If you want a place to wet your whistle, there are many places to do so. But no, it's obviously a fun, festive environment as people are kind of making their way in. I mean, we still got in, I think, probably a little earlier than many people did, but still, there's people rolling in. It's kind of fun just seeing the, people in high spirits and mosey and making their way. Right now, they've opened up the actual draft, the part of the draft where people will be going in to watch in front of the stage and stuff like that. That opened at 3, so that's getting going. Like, now we're starting to see stuff get going and like opening up. So I'm sure if you watch, whatever coverage you're watching of the preamble before the draft, you'll see the crowd just getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And yeah, no, it's just kind of exciting. I mean, you and I are, we're all about this stuff, and to kind of be in the midst of it it's pretty special.
A little bit different than 10 years ago when we went to Chicago for the first time. It was on the move in a long time, I guess, technically, but we were there mostly, we were there just as fans and just kind of seeing how different it is. I will say the atmosphere so far just reminds me of a typical Packer game from that. I mean, I don't think there's a whole lot different from that. I mean, obviously there's more stuff to do and such. It's just it's giving me vibes of just a normal game day, really. I think one thing though that we've talked about, Brandon, is for some of it, obviously parking, a lot of lots are $100 right now, but I'm surprised a lot of them aren't as full, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and I think within the next hour or two, those ones, especially, because it was pretty hit or miss as we're walking around, whether people parking on lawns and stuff like that was full or not. But I think that's probably going to get full once we get a little bit closer. I still think there's going to be a good chunk of people that are arriving at 4, 5, and 6 o'clock. Maybe you got a flight in this afternoon to Green Bay and you're kind of coming straight here. But I think that's going to get filled up sooner than later. But it's just very interesting taking people watching, I guess, as we're kind of making our way around, and we'll be doing that again later on. But this is the center of the NFL world right now.
It's the second biggest thing on the calendar, wouldn't you say? Or first now, maybe with all the fan attendance? I mean, it's top two. Top 2,
yeah,
top 3.
It's different. I mean, this is one of those things that everybody's can enjoy. Because, the big thing about the NFL draft is it's always about hope. You can be the Titans at pick 1. You can be the Eagles at pick 32 just in the first round. And if you're the Titans, you're picking Cam Ward and you feel like, okay, this is, we want to get our franchise quarterback and kind of start the ascent. And we saw last year with Washington, if you hit that quarterback pick early, just how quickly the script can flip. On the other end of things, you're the Eagles. You're coming up to the Super Bowl. You've lost some guys in free agency, and you've got that pick, and you've got some other picks. And a big reason you're in the position you are is because you've done very well with your draft. So for them, it's kind of that opportunity to kind of prove it again.
Right.
And they've proven it so many times before, but it's another chance to kind of go out there and show by they're one of the best franchises going in the NFL right
now. Obviously, we did the show from this morning, and anybody listening, yes, we had some audio issues, but we've hopefully got that fixed, and we're going to be doing something different tomorrow for a combo of a couple different things. Talk about rain. We don't want to be outside when it's raining, right. And then just the different audio stuff. So we already tested it. We should be good, knock on wood, that'll be good. But, I'm excited. I think, just to kind of revisit a couple of things that we talked about this morning, a lot of people talking about the uncertainty in terms of, like, we got a good idea of who's going to be taken tonight. It's just where, right? It's just, like, the variety and predictions on where these people are going to go, and McMillan being one of them, which a lot of Packers fans, Brandon was doing it, yelling out to different fans walking by, and every time a Packer one went, I would say 70% said wide receiver
Right.
at that point. So
Yeah, I mean and we talked about that on the show this morning. That's one of those picks where you could just say wide receiver, and Packer fans would roar. I mean, there's plenty. There could be plenty of good options there, but it's just one of those things where obviously we're well aware of. You know, it's been 23 years since the Packers have taken a pick or a receiver in the first round, and maybe tonight's the night.
Still, I think a lot of talk is on where is Shedeur going to go. Obviously, that's the big one. I think a lot of people are probably getting tired of that and maybe just ready to go on in that. And I think I think we got to be careful with what we hear on Twitter and Facebook.
Right.
And social
Once you
media.
get to a certain point, you should probably take anything you hear, rumor-wise, with a grain of salt, because we're firmly in smokescreen time. Where if there's a team that maybe wants Shedeur to fall a little bit, maybe they're planting some seeds out there to try to help facilitate that.
Right. Other than that, Shedeur, any other prospects, players that you're looking at this and Ashton Genty, I think we know he's going to be drafted high. It's just how high and where, and is somebody going to be moving up to get him? Are we going to see that trade? Are we going to see quarterbacks outside those two move into the back end of the first round and such? That's where I'm kind of intrigued. And I'll say it again that starting with Carolina, where the intrigue after that, I think, is where it's going to be kind of fun.
Right, and a prospect I'm pretty curious about is Will Johnson, corner from Michigan.
Yeah.
Because there's been kind of some conflicting reports. Earlier on he was looked at maybe being higher end of the first round. And as we get through this process, so many of these players are kind of analyzed and reanalyzed and reanalyzed again. And there's kind of been a pretty wide variety of where he could go. I mean, there's some people think he's the best corner in the draft, and obviously there's some that don't. So he's someone I'm kind of curious to see where the NFL ultimately feels he is.
There's a video of NFL Network in the over. It's full, but I wouldn't say it's quite full yet.
Right.
At this point. So, but yeah. Well, you asked a Saints fan that who do they want, and hey, we just saw him. But anyways, you asked a Saints fan who they wanted at essentially number 9,
Yeah,
and they said.
Well, all I said was who do you want the Saints to draft? And he said Jackson Dart. And I guess that didn't technically mean it had to be at 9, because I think we both feel that would probably be a bit early. But yeah, I mean, it's obviously full quarterback season right now.
Right. I'm definitely, that range and just seeing everything going out there, or how that's going to kind of work out, is definitely going to be interesting for me. Now let's kind of we're just doing a quick little live thing here before we have to head back out and put on more miles on our feet right now. Which, by the way, I got complimented on my shoes quite a bit. A couple times I overheard. I want to see the kicks. The kicks. That's a bad angle. The kicks. Okay. Final call. Final prediction. Who do you got? Your team, the Minnesota Vikings, either picking or will they trade?
I do think they trade, but I'll give you both. And remember today at the end of the show, I said my bold prediction was that the Vikings were going to take a receiver. But that was bold for a reason. I'm actually going to go with your mock. I'm going to say they take Malachi Starks.
Look at that. All right.
Synergy. You've obviously you might need to. Do you want to give a refresher to?
I can't do that all off the top of my head.
No, I mean just for the Packers.
Oh yeah, for the Packers, I went with Harrison, the corner from Kentucky. Speedster runs a 4.3 under 40, or 40 under 4.3, excuse me. Outside corner. I just look at that corner depth. Yes, you got Hobbs. Yes, you got Valentine. Yes, you got Nixon and such. You don't have speed at that position, especially with Jair Alexander doesn't come back. So I think you need some speed at that position. The only concern with him is the weight, but from some reports out there, he has been adding weight, and he's added weight maybe about 190 in the 190s right now. So if that's true, then it maybe alleviates some of that concern. But that is definitely one of the things that when you look at traits that the Packers look at in certain guys, they look at, weight. And Jaden Reed was kind of the exception, not the norm, essentially. So, I look at that. I will say I think if McMillan is the guy they want, they're going to have to move up. But I feel like if they feel like that is the guy they want, and he gets past Dallas at 12, then maybe you can. But you'd have to trade right before Seattle, I think.
Yeah,
Gets
yeah.
that.
There's a kind of a wheelhouse there where you kind of go away from teams that probably aren't looking at receiver, and then you kind of hit a stretch where there's probably several that would.
Right. Yep. So, any other final thoughts before we kind of head outside and maybe do some more recording and videos and such? Because we're going to do the blogs, but we're going to post them up when we got time to sit down and actually do that and put it all together.
Right. So that might be not in real time, but no, just kind of looking forward to seeing it. I mean, obviously these are the things we've experienced so much over the years, and we've loved this time of year, and now to be able to be we're going to be.
That's the thing though, too, isn't it? Like, not to cut you off, I'm sorry,
go ahead.
but you ever think we'd be here 10, 15 years ago, sitting and covering the draft?
Time flies, man, and you just never know. I mean,
I'll be honest, I didn't think so.
I mean, I wasn't sure it would ever come to Green Bay. I'm glad it did. I mean, this is, and we've had this conversation with other people too. That I mean, look, this is Green Bay Super Bowl. Like, as far as being able to host a large scale event, and they're going all out for it. There's a lot. I mean, you can't go a block in this town without seeing something NFL draft related on a business, on a house, a sign on the side of the road, whatever.
Yep.
Like they're putting both feet forward with it. So I hope it goes really well and it kind of gets that bug in the ear of the NFL and say, hey, this is something we can come back to again.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm excited to see how it goes tonight. I hope it goes well. I hope they're talking about it. I don't think they'll set an attendance record. I could be surprised, but I just hope it goes over well, so we don't have the stupid jokes and all that stuff. That's what I'm afraid of, essentially. Yeah. So, and you, I mean, you are a Vikings fan, but you don't want to see it fail either. Here.
No, because look. As much as, yes, I'm not a Packers fan, but this is a thing for Green Bay and this is a thing for Wisconsin. Getting this opportunity, and you want to see the state, this area represented in a strong manner to kind of showcase, the things in the state that we're very proud of. So that this is a chance for that to happen. He said, so far a good start, and hopefully may everyone's picks be in on time. I will just say that as a longtime Vikings fan.
That would be nice. Not only that, get the pick, go buy the pick, and then it comes back that you trade it out. The double whammy.
If somehow both the Packers and Vikings traded back and traded out the first round back to back,
we're going to this bowling alley that we went to last night a little bit earlier.
We can all say a drink together. Even though I wouldn't mind it, but still, for all the pomp and circumstance to be sitting there 3-4 hours and then for that to happen, it would be a gut punch. Let's just say, just for on his face.
Right. So, all right. I think we are gonna go walk around more and do some more videos and see who else we can run into. But again, tomorrow morning. Again, if you were listening this morning, apologies for technical difficulties for our stuff, but we got a new setup for tomorrow morning for the show. So we'll be recapping what happens tonight and looking ahead to my favorite day 2, with rounds 2 and 3. So we'll check you guys.